Hi YouTube friends, it's Diaper Kiddo Jason, and as promised I wanted to do a video today because I'm off work, so as promised, here we are. Um, a couple of things that I wanted to talk about today, but first I'm going to show you guys my shirt. Okay, so a little bit of backstory. Back when Pokemon Go was still a thing, I was pretty into it. And I found this shirt at a local thrift store, and I thought that it really kind of screamed Pokemon, even though it's not a Pokemon shirt. So hold on. Let's see. There we go. So you can see a little bit better. Seriously, it's super cute, and it's got little back pockets, which I'm not really sure what that's about, but it's got back pockets back here. I think it's for cycling, but I didn't use it for that. There we go. But yeah, I was pretty into Pokemon Go when it was still, a big deal and sort of still a thing. Unfortunately, I didn't like it whenever they took out the footstep tracking and all that, so I quit playing with it mostly, and I haven't really paid attention to any of the updates for a long time. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. So what I wanted to talk about today was a couple of random things that one of which my husband suggested that I talk to you guys about, and the other I've been trying to kick around the idea for the video for a while. So the first thing, the thing that my husband suggested that I talk to you guys about is hypnosis. Specifically, ABDL hypnosis. I don't know if you guys have played with that at all or tried that out. I have, and I haven't had the best success with it, but I have definitely found a little bit of success with a few of the files that I found online. As far as, I guess, helping me to feel little and regress. There are just a lot of porny sort of files out there, I've noticed, but for stuff that's just specifically for regression that isn't meant to cause you to start wetting the bed or whatever, there's not really a lot of options. So if you happen to have experimented with hypnosis before and had any success with it, feel free to point me in the direction of the files that you're using, because it is something that I'm definitely interested in, that I would love to be able to experiment more with, but I just really haven't had a lot of success. The quality tends to vary a lot. I have seen hypnosis files where it was a computer generated voice reading the script, and it just sounded awful. And of course, as a gay man, there's not a lot out there that's a man's voice that's speaking to a little boy. So my success with that arena hasn't been super. But if you guys know of anything that you'd like to point me in the direction of, please feel free, just so that I can continue to experiment. But the main focus of this video is I wanted to talk about balance, specifically balancing your little side and your big side. Let me scoot a little closer so you can see me a little better. But I wanted to talk about balance and the constant struggle of balancing adult responsibilities with little space, I guess, and how I've sort of found my balance, I guess I want to talk about. As I've discussed before with you guys, there was a long stretch where I wasn't really in touch with my little side. I was very uncomfortable with having a little side. I really didn't want to be an adult baby. I was okay with being a DL. In fact, I really enjoyed being a DL. But I'm going to move the camera just a little bit down so you can see me a little better. There we go. So I was okay with being a DL. I was happy with being a DL. It was certainly more of a sexual thing for me. I just considered it one of my many, many kinks, which I will not get into on this channel. but it wasn't something that I really had ever experienced, like regression or feeling little. I always like the clothes. I thought that the clothes were cool, but then of course you guys know I like to play dress up. And so like that side of things I was okay with, but the idea of actually acting like a child, even when I was by myself, just wasn't something that I was into. It was something that I thought about, but really didn't want to, like, I don't know, like embrace, I guess. So I avoided that a lot. I had no problems with other people being little. You know, I had a lot of AB friends, and you know, I thought that was great. But for some reason, like, it was just embarrassing to me that I even had that side to myself. Like, I guess in my head, it was easier to explain it as, oh, it's just a weird sexual fetish, it's just a weird kink that I have, than trying to rationalize the fact that I'm an adult who wants to dress and act like a child. And so I was very uncomfortable with that. And it took me a long time to kind of find my rhythm with it. But definitely in more recent years, in the past couple of years, I've definitely kind of come to appreciate that side of myself. And like regressing and like feeling little and, you know, like having pacifiers and plushies and watching cartoons and coloring and playing with toys. I have found that's a really good stress reliever for me. And so I've kind of come late to the party, I guess you would say, as far as figuring out my little side and finding where my balance is. And honestly, and I know that I've said this to you guys before, but honestly, I think that my going 24/7 with diapers has definitely been a big help for me to kind of feel more comfortable in my skin. You know, it's kind of hard to explain, but I guess just it's kind of become a more normal thing for me. And diapers were definitely my gateway drug into the world of ABs and littles. So for me, it's kind of helped me to kind of feel comfortable with that side of myself. And practice makes perfect, I guess. And so for the past couple of years, I've really kind of dived head first into it. But of course, that comes back to my original topic, which is the balance. And so there aren't really a lot of examples online that you can find of, you know, people that are adult babies, that are ABs, talking about the A in adult baby. You know, they talk about the B of AB an awful lot. And, you know, there are YouTube videos and there are XTube videos and there are Tumblr accounts and there are websites, social media, just all over the place where people are talking about their little side. But you really don't hear people talk about their big side very often. And to me, that's really important. What makes us, or at least I can't speak for everybody, but what makes me an AB is the fusion of my adult side with my little side. You know, I wouldn't want to be an actual kid, like, ever again. Like, God, no. Just because I enjoy too many of the perks of being an adult. The fact that I can make my own decisions, that, you know, I can decide for myself what I want to do, is a big part of my life. And I wouldn't want to give that up just to be able to live as a little boy for the rest of my life. I like working. I don't like my current job very much, but I do like working. I like being able to contribute to my household. I like being able to hold adult conversations. I read a lot of Wikipedia articles on just the most random, like, pseudo-science-y shit. Quantum physics and quantum theory and tarot cards and astral projection and just all kinds of crazy, like, metaphysical stuff that I don't necessarily believe in, but I find fascinating. And so I wouldn't want to have to give up that side of myself. And I feel like if you were to just take the AB community at face value, just what you dig up online, you would think that we all own like $3,000 cribs. Oh, there's Domino. Hi, Domino. But you would think that we own all this expensive like AB furniture, and that we live 24/7 with nursery rhymes playing, and that's just simply not true. But that's sort of the image that everybody wants to project, and I totally get that. There's an appealing idea behind that, I guess, that you can show people that side of yourself and kind of like have this fairy tale story about your little side. But the reality is that most of us don't live that way. I'm sure there are people that do, but most of us do not live that way. Most of us have to pay bills, and we have to buy food, and we have to live in the adult world. And I'm pretty good with that. At least for me, I'm perfectly happy with that. The balance of my big side and my little side is really important. Oh, it looks like it's going to rain again. Hold on 1 second. Let me see. Oh, yeah, it's about to start pouring. Florida. Yay. We're under a tornado watch today. That's exciting. But back to what I was saying, I really enjoy having a big side. And I feel like part of what I want to do with this channel is show people that my big side and my little side can kind of coexist peacefully, I guess. And that's possible for anybody. I really believe that. I work very, very hard. And part of the reason that we have the things that we have and we have the lifestyle that we have is because my husband and I both work very hard. Thank God he makes money, because I don't make much with my job, but we both put a lot of effort into our lives and into making a nice home for ourselves and for our big fuzzy daughter back there. We have bills. We have a lot of debt. When we moved to Florida, we gave up our jobs and sold most everything we owned and had to start over again. And so we have a lot of credit card debt. And so we're working at paying that down. We want to buy a house in the next couple of years. I'd like to be able to go back to school. We have grown-up aspirations for life. And I think that's a good thing. I feel like that's positive and that's healthy. And I try to feed my big side as much as I do my little side. The two halves of me, I guess you could say, are both important to make me be the person that I am. And I really like the person that I am. It's taken me a long time to get here, but I'm very happy with the person that I have become. And so it's important for me to find balance. There are a lot of times that real life responsibilities take precedent over being able to partake of my little side, I guess. And so I feel like sometimes I get pulled too far in one direction. And then there are other times where it's like, I don't know, like I get diapers on the brain or something, and it's like I just can't stop thinking about buying toys or clothes or, plopping down on the floor and coloring in a coloring book, and it's like I just cannot focus on anything else, to the point where it's almost like an obsession. And so that's when I'm pulled too far in the other direction. And I guess, like, it's always sort of walking a fine line between the two. Like, I don't ever want to neglect my little side, but I also don't want it to take control of my life. And so I try to project, online as much as possible, that I like to think anyway that I'm a fairly balanced person. That I have my big side and I have my little side, and I try to keep both of them happy, I guess. I play video games, and I play stuff like Dark Souls and Bloodborne, and those are certainly not age appropriate. Especially Bloodborne. That game is just fucking nasty sometimes. But in that way, it sort of is feeding both sides of me because I enjoy playing and I enjoy being able to, snuggle up in my comfy clothes and pop out my pacifier and then go kill things. And so that's a pretty good example of what I'm talking about, is sort of finding, a balance. Um, I feel like it's important to talk about this because I don't think very many people do. Um, I'm trying to think of, there are a lot of YouTubers that I really respect. And I don't know what their personal circumstances are. Um, I think Blonde Boy is awesome. I think his videos are adorable, and he really puts a lot of effort into his channel. But you don't really ever see his big side, which I'm assuming he has. But that's not part of his channel, and that's totally okay. I'm trying to think. Baby Mitchie is an example of somebody who kind of like walks that line, and some of his videos are just plain silly and adorable. But then there are other times that he's, being more grown up and he's talking about his life circumstances, and I think that that's pretty cool. Um, Gosh, I know that I'm thinking of like 16 people that I can't think of off the top of my head. Uh, but Diaper Dynamo is another example that I wish was still making videos. Like, I don't know what happened to him, but I really enjoyed his channel because he had a lot of like sensible tips for wearing diapers at work and things like that. But then you didn't really see a little side from him, and so I don't know if he is. As I understand it, he is dealing with incontinence. I'm not sure if he has a little side, or if he's more of just like a DL, or if he's just wearing his necessity. But his channel is more focused on the big side, and so that's a pretty good example as well, of like a different type of channel. Like Diaper Dynamo and Blonde Boy are like literally opposite sides of the spectrum from each other. And I think that's pretty groovy that everybody sort of has their niche, and everybody sort of is covering, a different part of the ABDL spectrum. Um, uh, so let me see. Maddie is another one. Baby Maddie. He does videos that are sort of in between, and his videos are really good. And like, I wish he would put out more content. But everybody sort of has their area that their channel tends to cover. But I find it most interesting when a YouTuber is kind of covering all the aspects of their life. And so, like, you guys know, I've talked about my job interview and how that's going. I've talked about my doctor's appointment that I went to. I've ranted about my job. But I've also done stuff with my clothes, my little clothes, and I've showed that off, and some of my toys and things like that. And to me, I want to show that I'm a fully well-rounded person. I feel like there's a negative perception, even within our community, that started with all of those stupid, like, Jerry Springer talk shows where, it was there to be titillating and shocking that, here's this grown person who wants to wear diapers. What kind of freak is that? And then the audience would ooh and ah over it. And I feel like that's just not even correct. I'm sure for some people it is pretty, titillating and shocking that, somebody my age who's in their, 30s would want to run around looking like a toddler. But that's their hangups. And I understand that there are a lot of people in the world that have never even heard of such a thing, and so it's completely shocking to them to find out that, this community exists. But I don't feel like there's anything wrong with trying to increase the visibility of our community a little bit. I feel like that's kind of a positive thing. when it's done sensibly. Like, obviously, I take pains to make sure that people who aren't looking for my channel and for my content aren't gonna find it with my keywords. And I don't like put my videos all over the internet just because I don't want somebody to stumble upon something that's going to make them uncomfortable, and I certainly don't want to be the thing that makes somebody else uncomfortable. But at the same time, I feel like showing people who are on the fringes of this community, or maybe new to it and a little bit interested in it and just want to understand better, that there are people that are well-rounded, mature people who can enjoy this too. I think that's a positive thing. And so that's part of why I do the channel, that I do the videos that I do, is because I want to be able to project that. And I want to show people that, you can be a normal person with a weird hobby or kink or lifestyle or whatever and still be a normal person and be able to live a normal, healthy, happy life, because that's not something that you always see. And I feel like that's a shame. I feel like, that's something important to put out into the world. If I were, a young kid, probably underage and shouldn't be doing, watching YouTube videos like this. You should wait till you're old enough. If you're a minor and you're watching my channel, shame on you. Go watch Disney cartoons or something. But I was a kid, I explored things before I was ready to explore them. And when I was, first on the internet, the positive portrayals of, ABDL community, lifestyle, whatever, were few and far between. It was creepy, mommy dom, naughty little pig baby videos and stuff like that. I mean, it was just creepy. And there wasn't a lot out there. And so way back in the day, and I'm gonna date myself when I talk about this, but way back in the day, I put pictures of myself online because all I was seeing, and no offenses meant to anybody, but all I was seeing was old dudes in bonnets, and that did not reflect me and my interests at all. Good for them. That's awesome that they were, interested in putting themselves out there. But that was literally all that was online that I could find. And so I started putting pictures of myself online on sites like, I can't remember the name of that website, but there was a site back in the day that had pictures that people would put up. Blue Baby or something like that. But, and I was on there. Then aby.com, until the owner flaked and let the site die. Stuff like that. I would put my pictures out on the internet to show people that, it's okay to be young and experimenting with diapers, And I was of age, like when I was doing this, I was of age. I didn't put anything online before, I was old enough to do so. But I wanted to put on the internet something that I wasn't seeing, which was a person of my age, a young person, enjoying being a DL, or dressing up in AB clothes. And so I did that, and I wasn't the only one doing it. And now you look online, and there's a plethora of different kinds of person who put their content online. There's a lot of young little Twinkie guys. There's still the creepy old people in bonnets. There's heavy-set women. There's transgender people. There's older mom types that are online that are putting out content. There's every type of person, and I think that is fantastic. I think that is absolutely amazing. I think that's something that should be the case. This should be a welcoming community, and everybody should be welcomed into it and made to feel a part of this community. And so I like where things have gone. And so my YouTube channel is to show yet another aspect of the AB community. The fact that I wear diapers 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and still manage to work a job where I'm on my feet all day, take care of my responsibilities, still enjoy my little time. I take bubble baths all the time, and like I said, I color and play with toys. But I found a good balance, and that balance works for me. That doesn't mean that it's going to be the same balance for everybody, but it works for me. So I guess the moral of the story, the point of this conversation, is to find your balance. If you feel like your little side needs more attention, then pay more attention to your little side. Treat your little side every once in a while. Don't forget about your big side, though. That's an important part of who you are. And the two can exist together peacefully. There is a balance there. You just have to find what works for you. If you are one of those people that I'm sure exists that lives the life 24 hours a day, and you have a mommy or a daddy that's taking care of you and paying the bills and everything, then great, congratulations. You're living the dream that a lot of people have. And I think that's wonderful because that is your balance. But if you find that you're not happy with where your little side and your big side meet, then take a look at it and find changes that you can make that are going to make you be a happier person. Because at the end of the day, that's really all this is about, is just being a happy person and doing what makes you happy. And so if your balance is once a month when you're home by yourself, putting on a diaper in your bedroom and then reading comic books or whatever, then that's great. That is your balance. If that is where you are happy, then that's great, and that's all you have to do. If you want to be able to live the life, but you have a significant other that doesn't approve or that isn't there for you in that side of yourself, then you have to find your balance. You have to find time to make for yourself when your other person isn't around, that you can explore that side of yourself without making them uncomfortable, of course. But you shouldn't let anybody, no matter how much you love them, dictate what you're allowed to do in your own privacy. So if it's something that you want to experiment with, then you should feel free to do so. Obviously you don't want to make anybody uncomfortable, and I understand that, but you should feel free to experiment and kind of find your balance. So that's about it for today, guys. Sorry for rambling for close to half an hour, but this is something that has been kind of sitting on my chest for a while that I wanted to talk about, that I feel like is really important to have this conversation. So if you have any thoughts or comments that you'd like to share, please feel free to leave them in the comments below. I am kind of excited and in awe and horrified to report that I have now over 100 subscribers. Thank you, guys. Certainly not the goal of my channel, but it is really appreciated, and it's very heartwarming to know that there are more than 100 people in the world that want to hear what I have to say. That's just awe-inspiring. I have crossed 10,000 views on my channel, which I don't even know what to say. Again, it's not the point of my channel. I'd still be doing this if I was the only one watching my videos. But it's appreciated, the fact that that I have found my voice, and that you guys have embraced that, and you've let me show up on occasion on your laptop or your TV screen or your phone and talk to you is just astounding, and I really do appreciate that. It touches my heart to know that there are people that actually care about what I have to say. So this has been just such a success, and I'm so grateful, just eternally. And so I just wanted to say thank you again. Obviously, I'm going to continue to do videos. That's not going to change. I'm trying to decide if I even want to talk about this, because it's in the past. But I do think I want to go ahead and address it. As you know, one of my videos blew up with comments, and there was a bit of a negative reaction. The thing that I didn't mention, and this happened, well over a month ago. I think it's been longer than that, actually. But the thing that I didn't talk about at the time was I really, in my heart, think it was one person. There was some weirdness going on with my viewership in the middle of the night spiking to ludicrous levels. I would go from, two views in an hour to all of a sudden I had 148 views in 1 hour. And it just didn't make any sense. And then there was some other just weirdness going on with the fact that all of my videos up to that point had almost the exact same number of dislikes on them, regardless of if the video was something that I had just posted or if it was the first video that was on my channel. And it seemed very suspicious. And I could tell that somebody was trying to put me off on doing videos and having a YouTube channel. And I discussed it at the time in my Real Talk video, and addressed what was going on, on a surface level. But I didn't really want to talk about my suspicions for what was going on behind that it was one person with puppet accounts that was trying to put me off on YouTube. Just because I didn't want to feed that troll, I guess. But I really did feel like there was some suspicious things going on. There was no way that my little channel was suddenly getting almost 150 views in an hour in the middle of the night, like early morning. And that all of my dislikes on all of my videos would line up so perfectly. Right at 42 dislikes on all of my videos simultaneously, no matter how long or how short a time they had been up on YouTube. And so I know that it was somebody trying to scare me away from making videos. And the only reason I'm bringing it up now is because I was doing some reflecting on it, and it doesn't bother me. Like, it probably should, and it did upset me at the time, but it really doesn't bother me because that's not why I'm doing this. And I don't intend to stop making videos just because one person was super dedicated to making me think like my content wasn't appreciated. Because I know it is. You guys have been so positive, and so I don't want anybody to think that I'm going to be scared off of making videos. I've enjoyed this too much, and I feel like you guys have been just too wonderful for words. So I don't want anybody to think that this is something that I'm not committed to. And that's the only reason that I bring it up. It's in the past. That person has pretty much left me alone, which I think is awesome. I'd really rather not have to deal with that kind of negativity again. And my last several videos, I haven't had any dislikes. So, which I don't really care. I do care. If somebody dislikes, one of my videos, I'd like it if they would tell me why. Just so that I can make corrections as needed. But at the end of the day, I'm not doing it for likes and dislikes. I'm doing it for the handful of wonderful people who really appreciate what I'm doing. And everybody else be damned. So, not to be flippant about it, but really, that's why I do these. So, that's long enough rambling, I think. So, until next time, guys, Domino's in full nap mode. But she says bye, and thank you so much for watching again. You guys mean the world to me. This has been the best hobby ever. So until next time, guys, I'll see you later.